Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 of the Mover Mailbag. We're just catching up on a whole bunch of emails from last time. So without further ado, here are your questions. All right, this comes from Mark. He's 32, old to become a fighter pilot. No. All right, this comes from Thomas. Hello, Mover. I took a glider O flight recently in which my instructor made a steep turn inducing some G's. He said it was only about 2 G's total, which is, I guess, 60 degrees of bank there. I was quite shocked at how difficult it is to even be a passenger while taking just a little more than 1 G. How does an ordinary guy like me go from barely being able to tolerate 2 G's to pulling upwards of 9 G's on a regular basis? Thank you. Love your videos. 2 things. One, it's always easier when you're doing it than when you're the passenger. Being a passenger pulling G's sucks. In fact, I commented on one of Rain's videos where he had a C-130 guy in the back seat and he was doing a demo routine, and I'm like, no thank you. Not today, not ever. I would not want to be in the back seat of a Viper doing a demo routine. It would suck. It sucks as a passenger. As the pilot, it's just something you build up a tolerance to. You do it. The more you do it, the better you get at it. You know, my best G tolerance was, I was a young lieutenant and I flew 27 BFM sorties in 1 month. Had a really high G tolerance after that because we did it a lot. Now, right now, having not pulled G's in a while, if I go pull, 4 or 5 G's, it's going to be hurting. But it's just, that's part of being a fighter pilot, is knowing your limits and then building your tolerance back up to get there. So it's just something you'll get used to. It's not something, there's no magic bullet or anything. You just got to do it. This comes from Victor. Hey, Mover, I've been watching your content for a while, and I find it really encouraging. I just graduated from high school, plan to attend Embry-Riddle, Daytona Beach, and go Navy ROTC. Do you think learning to fly aircraft in DCS and becoming fluent with the F-18C or other fighter jets would help me getting a pilot slot? I fly in DCS regardless because I love learning about different systems of the aircraft, but I wanted to see if it could give me an advantage. No. DCS is a fun game, but it has nothing to do with getting a pilot slot. Might get you better hand-eye coordination, If you take it seriously enough, you might learn a few things, but it's not going to do anything for you in a pilot slot. All right, this comes from Jaron. I'm a Canadian training for my PPL and considering flying for the military. However, my interest is flying off of carriers, and Canada doesn't have any carriers. So I'm wondering if it's possible for me to fly as a U.S. Navy pilot. If yes, is it difficult getting all the paperwork done for a foreign? Also, what kind of education do I need? I'd like to avoid college if possible, but if that's what it takes, I'll do it. Thoughts? Got to be a U.S. citizen. Got to have a college degree, period. So you get those 2 things, maybe. I recommend flying for your own country and then maybe doing an exchange tour. I don't know if Canadians do exchange tours on carriers, but they might. But go fly for your own country. Serve your country. This is about serving your country, not just flying cool stuff. I think I think it'd be best in the Canadian military. That's just me. But they do have exchange tours. If you want to come to the U.S., you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to get a degree. No way around it. It comes from Nicholas. Your YouTube channel has inspired me to go after my dream of becoming a fighter pilot. The information you've shared is invaluable and rare. I'm very grateful that I found your channel. I'd previously given up my dream by way of self-doubt, but you're saying make them tell you no has changed my life. That's awesome. Thank you. Even if I don't make it to a pilot, I'll be able to look back now and know that I tried instead of giving up. That means a lot to me, more than I can express. Please keep sharing this message. I also have a few related questions. Does it matter which college I go to or what my degree is in to be a pilot? I'll answer that now. No. It is weighted. Like a STEM degree with a lower GPA is better than a liberal arts degree with a high GPA. It kind of washes out. It is weighted on what degree you have, but in general, doesn't matter where or what. I'm 30 now, and I know that I have to become an officer by age 33 in the Air Force to be a pilot, though I read there's a waiver for up to age 35. Have you heard of anyone getting a wage waiver accepted? Yes, I have. I need to get my degree in 2 years starting from zero, so I'm looking at online schools like Southern New Hampshire University and Capella because they offer accelerated bachelor programs. Will this affect my chances of getting in or being competitive for a pilot slot? No. Whole person concept. You have to get the other stuff. Some flight time will help, scoring high on the AFOQT, doing well on the TBAS, all that stuff. How do I know that the school or degree will be accepted by the Air Force? It has to be an accredited university. I don't want to get to the end and find out my degree is no good for becoming an officer. Yeah, if you just, it's a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. If it's accredited, you should be fine. But that's what you need to look up. And I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure you'll find that on the Googles. Thanks for the question. Good luck to you. Make them tell you no. This comes from Eric. Dear Mover, first, let me say thank you for your years of service and dedication to protecting our country. Regardless of where a person stands in our military, it's men and women like yourself to keep the populace safe. My question to you, why do you have such a low opinion of the F-35, Fat Amy? Minus the VTOL aspect of the aircraft is completely incompetent aircraft. Is there no real world, wow, this is hard to say. Is there no real world role for it? I would love to hear your complete breakdown of it and why you despise it so much. Respectfully, a citizen has the utmost respect for a nation's military. I don't hate it. I just make fun of it. I mean, Fat Amy, Obese Amelia, the Battle Penguin, the Sex Panther. It's just it's not the sexiest fighter when you look at like a Hornet or you look at a Viper, but it's very capable for what it's designed to do and for its missions. It's a good fighter. It has a lot of cool toys. There's some stuff I don't like the stupid canopy and a lot of the compromises they made from the B model, and I absolutely think that the B model should have been its own thing and not a common design. You know, there's some trade-offs they made for that and some things that I think that they could have done better, but no, I don't hate it. I'd go fly it. I mean, I'd love to fly the F-35. No problem with it at all. It's mostly just tongue-in-cheek. We make fun of, I make fun of Eagles too. They're Zamboni drivers because they just clear the picture and then they have no mission. But it's just a joke. It's just friendly ribbing and rivalry. It's not any kind of hate or anything like that. Thank you for the question, though. Next one comes from Patrick. First off, I credit you for being one of the biggest reasons I managed to get where I am now. Oh, well, no. You are the reason you are where you are now, but I digress. I found your channel about 2.5 years ago when I was a junior in college. I always wanted to fly in the military, but I believe the common myth that my glasses were an instant disqualifier. So I settled for wanting to be an aerospace engineer. By some stroke of fortune, I came across one of your videos that discussed the 20/20 vision is not a requirement. I realized the door to doing what I always felt called to do was still wide open. I learned about the guard through you and began to pursue that. I rushed a unit twice and applied to a few, but was always underqualified due to a flight experience or AFOQT scores. April 2020, I got married, and while I can try and make the Air Guard units tell me no for a decade, it's harder to say no to your wife telling you to get a job. Fortunately, despite the massive list of benefits of the Guard, the biggest drawback was the time it could take to get a slot. An Air Guard pilot from Tulsa moved in right down the street and informed me it takes years, for many people still months, once you get hired. This delay would not be a huge problem except for the fact that it was almost impossible to find entry-level engineering jobs at the height of the pandemic, meaning I was married, unemployed, and my wife and I were living with my parents. I could not wait years to figure it out. These factors, combined with the fact that a Navy officer recruiter was already in correspondence with me from a university career fair, pushed me to go for it, and I got in this last board. Advice from this channel, the YouTube channel Faith by Flight, I'm not familiar with that one, but we'll definitely have to take a look, who makes videos on how to fly for the Navy, and many other mentors in my life got me here. However, your channel is the one that opened my eyes to the fact that I can still fly in the first place. Thank you for putting out this information publicly to all of us. I'm in the Make Them Tell You No Facebook group as well. If anyone has any questions, they can reach out to me. And redacted, but his OCS date is next year. Congratulations, Patrick. That is awesome. This is all you, man. I didn't do it. You did this. This is you. So enjoy, have a good attitude, keep an open mind. You'll have a lot of fun. All right, this is from Keith. I'm just a wee ring knocker on my way to pilot training in about 6 to 9 months or so. My experience in the Viper community, 3 fam rides, not to brag or anything, has me motivated to pursue a job as a pointy jet driver if I don't suck. 2 questions. In my interest of such pursuits, I came across a band known as the Dos Gringos. They seem to have some fighter pilot lingo in their songs. Could you bring some light to some of the nomenclature in their more notable songs? Unfortunately not, because on YouTube it gets demonetized. I mean, anything with music and stuff, I don't know how to square that corner because, it's all copyright protected and stuff like that. 2, although they haven't released anything in recent years, they remain relevant with the aviation community regardless of service or branch. Absolutely they do. Could you speak to the significance if when you were an up-and-coming fighter pilot? Man, we listened to the songs in the bar. I listened to them. I loved the Dos Gringos. Still do. I mean, it's just, it's cool. I mean, it's cool. It's just, I highly recommend you check them out if you haven't. I wish I could share it on the channel, but, with content ID and copyright stuff, it's just tough. Bonus questions, any stories about Trip and Snooze? Don't know them. They were before my time. But good luck to you. Enjoy pilot training. Rule number 1, don't be a douche. You want to get your fighter slot, but help your bros, which is girls and boys, cooperate to graduate. Next question. Eric, Hey Mover, you mentioned that before you cold called many USAF Guard Reserve units in order to try and become a fighter pilot. For one of the units, you managed to get a job, stock clerk, prepping the sim and others duties. I'm a high school student looking to apply to ROTC this fall. Would love to try and get a job internship with a local Air Force squadron or military unit. Do you have any specifics as to how to land such an opportunity? Do I keep cold calling, emailing until I get a response? I think it was a rare one-off, to be honest with you. I don't know that that's a real common program. We did have a student hire when I was at the Makos. If you're not going to cold call them, maybe check out usajobs.com. What I did was called the Student Temporary Employment Program, the STEP. So you had to be a student in college to get the job, and you know, your pay rate was based off what you were doing. But check USA Jobs, maybe search Student Temporary Employment Program. That to me is where you'd start. Cold calling units, I don't know if that's really going to help because it's such a one-off. They'll tell you you probably should enlist, but you never know. You might just get lucky. I mean, I wish I had better info. It's just not one of those things. I was very fortunate, to have the opportunity that I had. James, in 50 years, we did it. We time traveled, but to what year? Let me ask that guy over here. Is the B-52 still in service? Yes, I have no idea. Good point. Funny, yeah. B-52 will be around forever. And the last email on this episode of Mover Mailbag. Transferring from reserve to active duty. Hi, Mover. Can I start in the Air Force Reserve Guard and then go active duty? Good luck on your check ride. Thanks, Jay. You can. I don't know why you'd want to. So there's different pay statuses. I talked about this in a video before. If you're a reservist, you can do an IMA job, which is typically non-flying, where you go augment an active duty position. You can do MPA. You can get like an ADSW job, active duty for special work, where you're doing a special active duty assignment. Transferring to the active duty has happened. You can do that. It's rare. There have been openings, but it just depends on the needs of the Air Force and what's available and stuff. You can also do what's called a AGR, Active Guard Reserve job, and you'd be full-time on orders, or you can do an Air Reserve Technician job. Those are what I recommend. Stay in the reserves. Don't go active duty. Just stay in the reserves. Do your time there, and enjoy the choose your own adventure side of being a reservist rather than active duty, where you have to move and you're at the mercy. They can send you to a staff job, all this stuff. Just be a full-time guard or reservist. That's all. You don't need to go active duty to do that. It's possible, but I don't know why you'd want to. Okay, well, that'll do it for today's Mover Mailbag, this two-part series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot of great emails. Really appreciate everybody sending me your stories, sending me your questions, sending me your comments. If you want to send me something, movermailbag@cwmillion.com or P.O. Box 8594, Mandeville, Louisiana, 70470. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.